For those of you who are, you know, in Europe and it's late, thank you for following. Yes, I did ring Antonella to remind her. So thank you, Jen. Now, what am I picking for you guys? You guys have had a very spiritual year, but again, the way you've been dealing with your 2017 has been very different. You have had some challenges that have come up for you in different ways, and you've dealt with them the very best that you physically can. Old aspects connected to previous situations had come about to cause some triggers as well. So these might be triggers connected to family, or triggers directly connected to past tense partners, but there's been old triggers come up and old wounds opened. Now, some of them have been finalised, some of them haven't, and the way in which you've handled external situations has been quietly. The reason I'm saying quietly is because I do feel that not everyone is aware of how you've been feeling about certain situations that happened to you, and it feels more connected to romance. So you've kept your cards quite close to your chest. Some of it you have discussed, but the deep, deep scars you haven't. Some truths are going to come out. Some ways you look at things are going to change, and it is a very healing energy. It's definitely causing you guys a lot of headaches, or it has caused you guys a lot of headaches, because I'm feeling the tension in your neck. There is one situation that has been a real pain in your neck, and you don't know really how to deal with it. At times there have been people that have supported you in this area, but you're really wanting people to understand you've got it. You don't need them to cover you at all times. Sometimes certain individuals make you feel micromanaged. You don't like that either. There are connections that you had lost that are coming back. You're finding beauty in the simple things right now. You're trying to keep it as simple as possible. But some things that have transpired is making you have to meditate. You're really having to meditate on it. Work for you guys has been challenging because it feels like it's the same old. Although you are successful at work, I do feel forward movement with anything you're working on. But you don't know how that's going to look. You are moving into January feeling as though you don't know what the future holds, that you don't know how you want that future to look. For some of you have had a bit of time off. For others of you, you're wanting to have that time off and away. And I do feel a trip is coming. I do feel it's overdue, or time out in a sense is overdue. This can be that it feels you need time, not, although the holiday for some of you, it might be with people. You're also needing to meditate yourself. Okay? Now, the reason I'm saying you need to meditate yourself is because the answers come from within, not from without. And because you've held your cards close to your chest, a lot of this can't be solved through other people. It's, you know, some of the wounds are so very deep. And again, they stem back a lot further than you actually realise. That when these wounds are triggered, again, I'm feeling you're not talking to someone, is that when they're triggered for a reason. Hello. Keep cross-watching, most welcome. Okay, so when they're coming about in a sense of a trigger, we can at times take that trigger personally. We're thinking, gee, you know, we really don't want to be in this vibe. We don't want to have these feelings. Now, when they come about, you're looking at it as a bad thing. So anything bad that happens is good, because there is always an outcome of growth out of a situation. Sometimes energies need to be removed in order for you to gain personal clarity on your hurts in life. Sometimes we can't actually have that healing through other people. It needs to happen directly through ourselves in quiet time. And I feel as though for some of you, you are going to have a holiday. But for others of you, it feels as though, trying to work out which cards I want to use. It feels as though you really need some quiet time. So if you are going somewhere with a group, I do feel you're going to kind of stem off in that group to really have a bit of a think. A lot of things are going to come up, and the people that are around you, they might visually see it in your eyes, but you're trying to mask that, and it's okay to do that, because until you actually purge this aspect, you don't want to go into explanation mode when you haven't got the full answers or even why these are coming up in a sense of a trigger. You do want January to help heal you. You've also got some questions about what the road is going to look like in the future. You're very unsure about what your future is going to look like. You do know certain elements of it has to change. But time is going to benefit you. It feels you need time. You need time to process. And you've been trying to keep yourself busy. And that's not necessarily the solution right now. I do feel as though you do need to stop in order to feel. Because it's like when you're busy, you're not sensing what's going on. So it can make you feel quite disrupted. Or it's like an avoidance mechanism to deal with the emotion at hand. Okay, what's going on with your cards? Let's see. Thank you from New Zealand. Welcome. Okay, in your family life, you feel they're your world. Family to you is your world. You're very connected to it, but you don't forget your world, because your world is relevant as well. So you've got to create a world where you exist inside that world as well as outside that world. Sometimes when we have loved ones afar, we're feeling this disconnection, but vibrationally speaking, be it a loved one passed over or a loved one in the 3D, we're always directly connected, because there are worlds within worlds, but you are allowed to have your own world without being completely having to give everything to one person or a group. Your world needs to be grounded in order to give more, and at the moment it's feeling that's making you quite emotional. Some aspect of family, some connection, some burden, and while you've been giving so much, you haven't had a time to heal. So in some aspect you're needing to do the healing so that you can bring your world back on its correct axis. You're going to be patient connected to this, and you know it's going to be a process. You do have a loved one who's passed over. That does feel a female figure. This can be an elderly lady, I'm feeling, or it can be an elderly man. Now, they were very quiet, I'm seeing. Or their energy of how they are right now, they're quietly observing what you're going through. Now, they are guiding you and protecting you, and they're trying to help you through this process. They want you to know it's going to be okay, and that an aspect of what happened with them you need to let go of, and know that they're okay, and know that they want you to focus on your world. They want you to manifest your world, that they're always in your world. And even if the connections in your family after the fact aren't completely cemented, they need you to know that you're always connected, no matter what. Even if there are differences, you're always connected, and they want you to not forget that. The communication within family is a bit up in the air, and sometimes you don't need to have that communication, because automatically I am feeling that you're going to need to have a little bit of time out in order to gain some clarity, in order to get yourself grounded and see the perspective from a different angle, so that you can feel your truth and maybe at times feel angry connected to something, but then also purge that aspect of it so you can move forward. So at the moment you're wanting to hear from someone, and this could physically just be your loved one on the other side that you wish you could hear their voice. But definitely communication is blocked connected to family at the minute for a reason. You need to trust the process and try and have compassion towards yourself during this process. Although it feels frightening, it's there for a blessing, and it's so it can give you the time to heal and look at a situation differently. Now, money. You're going to need to do something differently when it comes to money, because there might be a bill that comes out of nowhere, or something that you're working towards. You're not quite sure about how to apply your energy in it, and you're really concerned about money in the future. So some way and shape and form you've been kind of using your money. You're wondering whether it was wise to invest in a situation. So for some of you, it might be a home or somewhere you live, or something you've invested in, and you're questioning what you're doing in that area and how you're going to bring the balance back. For some of you, I do feel you're really looking at home life, work life, where you've spent time in, that it feels like it's a great knowing, but what you're moving towards is the unknown, and that makes you feel unwell. Money is coming through this situation. So if it's a place you live and it's shared, it may be divided. If you've waited for money to come back in, I do feel it is coming back in, and on the home front it will be fine. But I do feel a move directly connected to home and a joint venture that you might be considering but have not yet invested in. You're considering it, but money is going to come through. If money's blocked, it's usually for you to meditate. When it comes through, it's at the direct given time to protect you. So money comes in when you have learnt to balance that aspect of it, you know, where you're not being silly with it or giving too much. And then other times to protect you, it's removed so you're not wasteful, and you do the meditation and the internal work. So money is coming through, which will help you go where you need to go, do what you need to do. So it's coming for a reason at the correct time. And anything you're working towards, be it emotional or physical, it has blessings connected to it. So it's going to be a blessing in disguise that this money's going to come up at the right given time. Some of it will be directly connected to a new contract or something that you're wanting to do in your future with money that you're a bit concerned about at the moment. Are you going to have enough? Are you going on the right road? But definitely you're going to be doing a lot of processing in January. Okay, you're going to have a breakthrough. So this time in January is going to help you realize some things. And it's funny because today when I was driving, I saw butterflies everywhere. There's going to be a breakthrough, and it will be you're assessing a situation for how it stands. You know, no other. And why I keep seeing you kind of meditating on your own is because it's your opinion that counts, and what you're going to do is going to be what's vibrationally correct for you. It's not going to be what other people think you should do, although you have worried too much about what other people think. And there is an element of healing in this. You also know what's best for you. So walk your truth. Don't explain yourself to anyone. And just know that it's almost like you are explaining yourself, but you're explaining yourself to yourself. So try and stop doing that, so you realize that as long as you feel everything's okay, that's all really that matters. You're trying to push something in a direction, but if you have to push, maybe it's not correct. So walk your truth. There's going to be a breakthrough, and the breakthrough might be an idea or a realization of something in January. Also, stop pushing it in a certain way. Let it flow the way it's supposed to. You can't make everything perfect. It's actually not your job. You also, for yourself, know what's best. So you need to get these all directly aligned correctly. Yeah. Joy of love, eh? Can't live with it, can't live without it. Singles, what's happening with you guys? Too much work and no play. Okay, for some reason it feels like you're crossing having to be responsible all the time. I feel you rushing around, and the last year I feel you to be rushing around quite a bit. Some of your friends think you haven't healed and they're trying to, I don't know, buffer a situation, which is actually making a situation worse. You've actually moved away from that energy altogether. To you, a situation is long in the past. And the way you're looking at it is you don't understand what all the fuss is about. Sometimes it brings triggers up in you when they do that. You're like, oh, maybe I'm not okay. You actually are. So you'd rather they didn't go over old ground all the time. And I do feel you're going to need to speak your truth and actually say to them, guys, can we please not go there? Because ultimately speaking, my truth is I am okay. I'm actually moving in a direction I feel fit. I shouldn't have to explain to you. So can we just be in the moment? Because can't you see I'm all good? It's like they're trying to bubble wrap you. But the bubble wrap is causing agitation to you. You probably, the person who this is directly connected to, that energy has long transpired. You know, and you're okay being you. And yeah, I mean, in some ways you do want someone and in some ways you don't. You're like, you're okay. But you don't want people to micromanage you, saying you should be living in a certain way. If that energy is old energy coming up in a point and a trigger, it's going to come about in a way where you're going to automatically be telling people your truth. It's not going to come across nice either. So it might be just pulling them aside and actually having a quiet word to them and saying, look, I'm actually really enjoying me. But look, 2018 does bode well for connections. When you're vibrationally ready, it will happen. And sometimes things do actually come out of left field, even when you're least expecting them. And that's generally when it bodes the best, because you have just focused on yourself. And yeah, you've got to be number one. Some of you have had a decision between two people. Two ways of living. It could be being single or being coupled, but it feels like two. And in this, one of them could be someone from the past. One of them is someone that you were currently working with. The one who you were currently working with, it fits, but you're not sure. You're not sure. You're thinking of the other person from the past, I feel, many of you. Yeah, it's sort of, and it's because you're not feeling you fit in a dynamic. So you're reassessing whether you fit in this dynamic and whether it's right for you. You may want to be fancy free, but you're too attractive to be fancy free, quite frankly. So that will not happen. You know that, or not for very long anyway. You have great charisma, male or female. It's the way you are. And people are very drawn to you. Your light is coming back. Definitely more than it had been. But the person that you're interested in is very ambitious and very independent. They have a great connection to you. Okay, when it comes to love, you're looking at it from a different perspective. Like I said, it's like people are looking at you, telling you what you should be doing in your love life. And the way you're looking at it is, no, I actually know what I want out of my love life. I know when I'm ready and I know who I'm connected to. So don't let people interfere in your connection. But I'll tune into theirs in a minute. Theirs is interesting energy. You know, you're worried about how do I put it? Something has stuffed you over. So the energy you're coming into January with is you're a bit iffy. You're sort of looking at it like, you know, my assessment of situations, although people are pulling triggers in me, connected to, hey, are you really sure you know what you're doing? You're sure you don't want a relationship? We know better. They're pulling a trigger up in you. So then what's happening is you're having that secondary stage where you're saying, well, am I? And they're making you question yourself. Try not to tap into their energy. Get yourself grounded, remove yourself from the situation, meditate on it, then go and address it with them so that they can't keep doing that, because that is making you feel a bit up and down, and it's freaking you out before you invest, and that's not healthy. It's not good. So you need to get that in balance and take your power back to a place where you're saying, look, I don't need you to baby me. You know, love is a risk automatically. That is the truth of the matter. Yet that feeling you get when you directly are in it is like you're on cloud nine when you do actually take that ride. So you don't want to not have that feeling ever again. Yet the reality is, in order to feel that, there is that risk. But you also need to remember where you come from, that you're not going to be, you know, don't feel it's ever one-sided. Don't feel that if someone has stuffed you over, that you won't have that frequency up and those tools to prevent that situation from happening. By you owning a frequency of saying, this is my benchmark of what I'm entitled to, your radar will be up when someone is not being straight with you. But you do very much need to go in with an open mind, you know, to know that this is going to come through. Now, there might be a delay, so you're going to put a pause on it to actually meditate on the situation. And it's due to the fact that you're really not sure. So if this is a person you're not sure on, but you've been assessing and dealing with, don't go any further with them if you're really questioning that, and meditate on it before you go any further. Okay, don't go overboard in giving too much to this situation if you don't feel it's vibrationally correct, because sometimes we do that when we're just trying to make it perfect, even though on the 3D it's not perfect and we're trying to make it, you know, a bit better than it is. And sometimes your energy can be that you're just wanting to be fancy free and have some fun, yet it can turn into something else, even though maybe you weren't planning it to go that way. So just be careful how you use your energy. Now, the thing is, you're feeling some things never get off the ground, and that's really frustrating you. So what you're wanting to manifest in January is something that actually does come through. But in order for this to happen, when offers come through, you're going to have to be very direct, you know, and it might just be to the universe or to yourself of your realization of what your expectations are for your romance house, your love life, what you're wanting. Now, this person's very tempting. Now, this could be a person from the past. They're very tempting. This could be someone who's physically you're dealing with, and you're still kind of, you know, you're back and forward on it, I'm feeling. They do have things around them that are disruptive, though. So it could be a family member. It could be they have children, or it could be their kind of work life. Okay, so something in them is changing, or something in them has a bit of chaos around them, so to speak. It feels like it's an external energy that's going on with them. But they're trying to get the balance back. They're trying to start over. So I'm going to pull a clarity on that because there's interesting energy coming through. Now, there is going to be an ending. Now, it's either you're going to put an end to putting the wall up on this person because it's actually causing triggers in them, but you're causing triggers in each other. Now, they're coming across as very independent. So, you know, one minute they think it's flowing and you're going to actually approach them and it's going to go to that next level. And the next minute it's like they really don't know how to pick up on this other person's signal. So you're sending out signals you're keen, but emotionally you've got things going on. Now, there's two individuals around you. There's one I feel that you've dealt with and you're currently dealing with. For others of you, it's the same, although there is an external situation going on emotionally where you're looking at an old connection and you're finding that situation more tempting than the one you're currently kind of assessing. Because you're vibrationally feeling the connection isn't complete. So there's definitely two here that I'm seeing as a possibility for what's coming through for you guys. Now, this person gets very confused by you, this person from the past. At times they're feeling as though, you know, you're wanting them to be more playful, so they're being more playful. And then other times, you know, they do have a lot going on in their life. But they are trying to rebuild their life and make things very balanced. Also, they're very independent. So you won't be able to tame them. But it's not they're being disrespectful to you. It's just they're actually independent people. So their energy on their own is very grounded. And they do want to have an ambition with you, to have a connection with you. So don't misinterpret their energy of what they've got coming across, because they're only acting the way they are because you're confusing them. Once you get grounded and you know what road you want to take, I do feel they'll be more open to you. But there is going to be an ending of something and a way of doing something. So I feel as though if there's blocks, you're going to purge them. And it might be that this is anywhere from now through to January. I do feel for some of you, this could be that you actually see this person from the past, which is going to be, it could be at an event, a barbecue, a gathering. And it's like you haven't talked to them in a while. Maybe it makes you nervous to talk to them. But yeah, they get mixed signals from you. You do excite them though. They just get nervous. Couples. Cards are getting so old they bend. I have to keep bending them back. I can pull the medicine cards for singles and then I'll do them for couples. Thank you, Jen. Singles. I forget sometimes. You guys are feeling, singles, that, okay, be really careful what you're thinking. If you think all the time all you're going to get is a crappy relationship, well, you're morphing it into a reality. You can change that frequency. You need to purge it because it's an old energy, and you're definitely morphing it into a reality. If a person you're currently dealing with is kind of resembling someone from the past, although I don't think this is the past tense energy. I feel it's someone you're kind of investigating and dealing with at the minute, but you are thinking about a different partner. What's going on is you're seeing similar traits, yet this was maybe an aspect that had to come into your life in order for you to purge it. So if this is coming about in a trigger, well, it's you put it out into the universe and now it's coming about in a sense where you're looking at it going, oh, okay, have I learnt that lesson? And if you have, you need to let it go. So, you know, but just be careful what your mindset is, you know, and it's not that what you're doing is bad. Sometimes we don't know our power of manifestation. When we haven't completely healed, and this can even be twin energy, we do this, you know, oh, I'm not quite ready to have my twin. Well, you kind of go away and some situation will come up in your life. Similar aspects will come through of traits of what you've lived with your twin. And that will come through in another person and the cycle will happen again in a different union. Then you will let it go. Only then when you've let it go can you move forward. Now, you're not letting go of control. You need to go with the flow. You need to realize that this hasn't happened. This has happened because you're not letting go. You need to let go emotionally from that cycle to realize that as long as you say to yourself you're entitled to the best, you're going to get the best. If you keep saying to yourself you're going to have the same cycle, you're going to have the same cycle, you know. So don't feel that that's all you're entitled to, because, you know, it's an energy work we need to do. So once you've done that energy work, it will shift. And did I do these ones? No. And I'll pull you a chakra card. Okay, so this can be connected to family. That is a blockage. And what you're passionate in. So be passionate and ground yourself in your family and your base chakra, clear it. And it will make you feel connected, and then you can move forward in this area. So sometimes we don't know we have triggers directly connected to this, that it impacts our actual relationships. I mean, generally, most of the things do come from family. Look, and that's not to say our families are bad. Our learnings come from our childhood, and they're definitely tools in our life. Some of them are good, some of them are bad. But we can unlearn these things and break cycles in order to kind of have a better life. So we just got to work on that. It's very challenging. It can be emotional. Couples. Yeah, try to unlearn. Okay, couples. There's discord going on. And your partner is being stubborn connected to something. Look, both of you are very independent. But both of you are looking at it from different perspectives. You're being strong-willed. But that's what's going on at the moment. So we'll work out why. Now, this overwhelms you. Although, you know, your spirit's being knocked and you're trying to have faith connected to something, it's also really pulling about triggers in you where you're having to go back over old ground. And, yeah, I do feel it's directly connected to family. I mean, a lot of the readings that I did previously were sort of suggesting an aspect of purging was coming through anywhere from October, November, December. And this has been heaviest purge of maybe the last 2 years. So this energy for you, Leo, is really coming through very heavy. And it's because it's almost like a bag, right? Or a container, and there's this lolly in it, and you're trying to shake it to get it out, and it's not coming out. And you're thinking, why isn't it coming out? Because it's right at the bottom of the barrel, and that's what's going on. There's a little aspect that hasn't come through because it's stuck. It was, you know, sticky and it's got stuck. It's that Christmas bloody lolly. And it's coming up, and it's come up in a trigger point, and you're thinking, you know what, I'm overwhelmed by this. I didn't even want to deal with this. The conflict is causing, yeah, it's hard. You're wondering how to get out of this situation. You're trying to keep the peace. The chaos is there for a reason. You need to realise that the chaos is there for a reason. Work through that chaos because it's going to bring about healing for you. Now, your partner's being stubborn, but they want this to be sorted. And they're getting nostalgic over different situations. They're looking at it and thinking, God, it was simpler before. They could feel this is their right. So it might be that they're looking at it like, I don't know what the problem is. And it'll be relevant to how it directly fits for you. So, you know, they're being stubborn. You can feel the conflict. It is causing conflict, though, because you are looking at it from a perspective, but you need to look at it from an outsider's perspective. If all you focus on is that, it's going to cause issues. Okay, you're overwhelmed, but you're wondering what to trust, what to believe, and, you know, it's making your partner unhappy. Your partner's hoping this just all blows over, but it is causing between you crosswires and gossip and issues within the situation. There could be, your partner's thinking it's family and it's their right, or it's family that it's about, and you're feeling really crossed. And also, you're also forming opinions or worried about cash at the minute. There is a cash component you're concerned about. You've got a lot going on, but what's going on is deeper than just the 3D of what has transpired. It feels this has just aggravated the situation, so to speak. So there's been, it's just the last straw on the back. But I do feel externally to that, other parties involved in this dynamic, the whole story is not completely there. And The time that you have apart is what is going to help you do some of the purging. And again, the same card has fallen out. You're not letting go of it. You need to realize that this is more about you than others. And the reason I'm saying that is because this trigger that's come about was given to you by the universe. This conflict that has occurred has been given you to have time out to do purging. So yes, it's caused a trigger, and yes, it's not nice, but it's there for a reason. You've got to trust the process. Try and work through with that energy. It is safe for you to love, okay? You are safe. You are protected. You just need to go through the energy. Your dreams are trying to talk to you. Now, again, I'm feeling a loved one. And I am feeling this loved one is trying to communicate with you. It can be someone on the 3D that you are not speaking to, that you're seeing them in your dreams and you're concerned of them, but you're also angry as well. So again, maybe the communication needs to come through the 5D and a spiritual level where both of you are helping each other do some healing work so that you can heal this aspect, because it's too touchy to deal with right now. Chakra. But there's definitely healing around you. Some triggers from your childhood and your family you need to let go of. Some of it has been long-standing. Some of it has been flowing through and triggers just come up. This may not even be about your relationship, but your relationship may be an aspect of it as well. You know, part of your childhood. Part of the way you deal with situations due to your childhood. It could be mum and dad separated, so you know you stay in relationships, or it could be that you just simply don't commit inside relationships. Something to the degree connected to your childhood and why these things are coming about. I do see a base chakra again. Okay, family. Family is the trigger point. Get to the root of it, and you're going to be able to be free from it, because you don't want to keep doing this cycle. Because I mean, if you do end up having to come back and redo this, trust me, it's going to be 10 times worse. So deal with it now in life. And love. Jen loves it when this happens. And some of you may be reconciling your truths connected to what's going to happen, how it's going to be. But I feel you've got to regress in childhood, you know, to work out why this is coming about, because everything happens for a reason, trust me. I mean, there was a time, yeah, I know, romance at the moment, I think, probably because in January we're going to have that old energy moving through. Because like I said in the other videos, if we haven't purged things, which Leo in this aspect at the moment, connected to family, which is love-based, hasn't purged that aspect from childhood and isn't feeling safe connected to trusting their intuition and their base chakra, then that's an aspect that was supposed to be dealt with last year, 2017. So don't be surprised if it comes up in a massive trigger New Year's Eve, and you just feel really unhinged. Don't freak though, because it just means the first few months aspects of that are going to come up where it's going to assist you purging. You still will be moving forward in the number 2 year. It's just, it's going to be a little bit, I wouldn't say harder. Aspects and triggers will come up during that time for you to purge, and then it will become lighter and more smooth sailing. But there is a benefit to this situation coming up for you, and not one of us have purged everything, trust me. It's just the root core of things that needed to happen have happened so that we can move forward with a sturdy kind of tower event / we now have the foundation, so we can start moving on with our lives. And that's been a 2-year cycle really that we've been going through, because I do feel it was from 2016 we were doing this. Any questions, anyone? Oh, so quiet. I do feel many of you will be super emotional. If you feel the need to confront someone, then yes, like you have to do, it's always respecting self. Sometimes there is divine timing. Sometimes if you've done the internal work, then, you know, it helps more to do the internal work and realize, because even twins do this, where we can look at our twin and we can say, oh, but they've got blocks there. Again, stop. Where do we have a block? So it's exactly the same energy format and technique to actually look at the situation. Triggers come up for a reason. We see something in another person, which 9 times out of 10 directly is about us, not them. It's just, it irritates us or it triggers us because we're seeing something in them. So what exactly is going on with them, that is about us. It's a legal case. Directly connected to a person who's directly involved, you would be very cautious, because ask your lawyer first, because I don't know if it would affect it, and I'm not supposed to give legal advice. You can white light the energy and communicate more on the 5D in a sense of what you feel needs to be done. You can actually ask if you're allowed to, you know, to help that process. Was it related to a vehicle? Because I can, and again, because there's so many people on YouTube, I do tune into different energies. So sometimes I tune into, I think, your energy, and it's actually somebody else's. Okay, with the car, was it a car accident? And was this person light in hair? Light hair color. Sorry for my language. Because I do feel something has happened connected to either you or somebody else before, where an incident happened in a car. Now, this person, it's a strange energy. It might be 2 energies coming through, because I do see a previous situation happening. Now, this person doesn't seem quite right, what I'm seeing. It's something in the eyes. I'm seeing in the eyes they're not quite right. I do see them with lighter hair. They almost look like an M&M. I can't even explain it. It's like they are quite short. They're not super tall. That's what I'm saying. Now, I don't know if they had a stint really where they were medically unwell and maybe in an institution or something like that. But I do also see something connected to a previous car accident connected to them that was a trigger for where they're at right now. So I don't know whether this information will come to you a bit later. I feel they're distant to you. I do feel you to be safe. But yeah, definitely talk to somebody legal, because I'm not allowed to kind of say that. It's not my right. Yeah, and ask. Maybe in a sense of purging, it might be a letter that you write. But yeah, definitely get advice prior. Any other questions? Most welcome. No other questions before I go check my dinner that I've got on early? Probably set the house on fire. Night, Jen. Real estate. Most welcome, Jen. I feel for you this is a different area. Now, with the different area, I do think it'll bode well. Although there might be a change of plans at the last minute, Wendy. So Leos have some interesting energy going on. Scorpions as well at the moment, where their energy is changing. It's like that. They think they're doing one thing and then they go, oh. Yeah, so, but 2017 prepared us for this. So don't, always invest, you know, move towards it with passion. We never come away with anything like to a point we haven't taken something with us. I do feel it's positive, so just go with it. I'm feeling so. trying to get here, is he? If you're feeling someone's your soulmate, they're still coming through, always we're deeply connected with people. Okay, so keep that, you will have that connection there automatically. So you've got to follow your instincts connected to it. You'll have frequencies that you'll pick up on and you'll feel and sense that they're coming. You need to trust that instinct because that's what it's guiding you to. As for the question, when the person is coming, autumn. Okay, this could be that's their birthday. Any other questions? They were supposed to be here in December, energetically. Why no eye contact? Because energetically, Leos have emotionally been going through things, right? So it's like they're going back and forward because they're actually trying to decide what they're doing. Cool. They're trying to decide what they're trying to do. So they go from being invested to uninvested to invested. It's because they're trying to ground themselves. And in January, that's really what's going to happen. More clarity will come through by the end of the year. We're coming into a supermoon, which is really changing the dynamic of things. You know, it's going to cause a lot of clarity, but a lot of shifts in us. So yeah, that's why. Don't take it personal. It's a single day energy. Go with the flow. Any other questions before I sign off? Probably being optimistic of coming back tonight. I'll see how I go. Yes, we all need patience. Have patience with self. You know, sometimes it's not with other people, you know, and a lot of what's been coming through in the Leo reading is very much, if you're cross-watching, you know, try and have patience with self. You know, it's not all one-sided. It takes two to tango. So don't take all the burden on emotionally. Let it flow naturally when it's ready. There is divine timing. And definitely from a twin point of view, at times you really question aspects of timing. And you just need to be to the point where you're gentle with yourself. Okay, guys. Well, I shall have to go. And have a lovely new year. If I don't see you before, which I will do. But yeah, it depends on if you cross-watch. And I hope everything goes well. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.